What's your no good deed goes unpunished story? I worked as an accountant at a small office downtown. My boss Frank was one of those guys everyone loved, always cracking jokes, bringing donuts on Fridays, calling us his work family. He had pictures of his kids all over his desk and talked about them constantly. Then his wife left him, just packed up and moved across the state with some guy she met at her gym. Frank completely fell apart. He started showing up at 10 instead of 8. His eyes were always red. I could smell whiskey on him after lunch breaks. He stopped returning client emails. Missed 3 major meetings in 2 weeks. Upper management started asking questions. I felt terrible for him. This man had given me my first real accounting job when I had 0 experience. So I started covering. Stayed until 7 most nights fixing his mistakes on invoices. Called clients back pretending to be following up on conversations Frank never had. When the regional director asked where Frank was, I said he was handling an emergency vendor situation. Frank noticed. He pulled me aside one morning and actually had tears in his eyes. Couldn't do this without you, Carla. You're keeping me alive right now. He gave me a $50 Starbucks card, made me team lead, started calling me the backbone of the department in front of everyone. I felt good about it, like I was doing something that mattered, helping someone who really needed it. Then corporate announced an audit. Random routine check, they said. I wasn't worried at all. I kept good records. Everything was organized. The auditors showed up on a Monday. 2 serious people with laptops and briefcases. They set up in the conference room and started going through everything. Frank called in sick that entire week. Said he had the flu. Thursday afternoon, they asked to speak with me privately. My stomach dropped when I walked into that room. The woman auditor had her arms crossed. The man was staring at his computer screen with this expression I couldn't read. We found a discrepancy, the woman said. $48,000 missing from the operating account. I actually laughed. Had to be a mistake. I walked them through our process, showed them how we tracked every transfer, every payment. That's when the man turned his laptop around. Every single suspicious transaction had my login, my credentials, my digital signature, payments to vendors I'd never heard of, transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. These were all processed by you, he said. My hands went numb. I pulled out my phone and started showing them messages. Screenshots of Frank asking me to help process urgent vendor payments. His card reader wasn't working, he'd said. Just use your login real quick. Help me out. The vendors are threatening to drop us. I had everything. Texts, emails, call logs showing he'd asked me to do it. The auditors took my phone, went back to their laptops. 30 minutes later, they came back looking confused. Every single message I showed them was gone from the company server, completely wiped, like they never existed. They called Frank. He drove in even though he was supposedly sick, sat down across from me in that conference room and looked me straight in the eye. I never asked Carla to do any of that, he said calmly. I don't know why she would use my name. I couldn't breathe. This man whose kids I knew by name, who I'd saved from getting fired, who cried and thanked me. Frank, you know that's not true, I said. My voice cracked. You asked me to help you. He just shook his head sadly. I think the stress of the promotion got to her. They suspended me that afternoon, walked me out like a criminal. 2 weeks later, HR called. They were terminating my employment. Couldn't prove intent, they said, but my name was on everything. They had to let me go. I couldn't find another accounting job. Everyone wanted references. My entire career was destroyed. I was applying to receptionist positions just to pay rent. 6 months later, my old coworker Jen texted me. Frank got transferred to the northern branch, promoted to regional supervisor. The company decided not to pursue anything further to avoid negative attention. I sat in my apartment staring at that message for an hour. Then I called the IRS, gave them everything. Dates, account numbers, the names of those fake vendors, told them to look at who actually received the money. It took forever. Investigators don't move fast. I'd almost given up when I got a call 14 months later. They found it. Frank had set up a shell company, funneled every dollar into his own account, fake invoices, fake vendor names. He'd been doing it for 2 years before I even started covering for him. He was arrested at his new office. Fraud, embezzlement. The company offered me my job back with back pay and a formal apology. I told them no. By then I was running my own bookkeeping business from my spare bedroom.